Welcome to episode 13 of The Leap Home. What price, Gloria?
In this week's episode, Sam experiences life as a woman for the first time, and this new perspective opens his eyes a little. When his new best friend considers killing herself over a man who has been lying to her, Sam must intervene and convince her he's not worth it. But can he get through to her in time? Or will he have to face up to the fatal consequences of another man's bad behaviour?
It's a pity they didn't have the wet look in 61. 'Cause you would look fabulous with wet lips.
Good afternoon, Ian. How are we?
A bit warm. How are you?
Wet. Do you like my look?
It seems quite similar to your normal look. Just a bit damper.
Moist.
Indeed. Everyone's favourite word. How have you been?
Good, yeah. Not bad.
For the first time in a long time, we're recording a week after our previous recording. No breaks.
Feels like longer.
It does a wee bit. I thought this was a better episode than the two that preceded it.
It was a better episode, certainly for the podcast, in terms of discussion points. And I think there are a number of discussion points, not least Al,
yes,
who was pretty atrocious. And I have to say, he may have been the worst man in this episode, and that's saying something.
One of, certainly in the top three.
Yeah.
Found something out this week.
What's that?
If you have an Amazon Echo, you can now program it to respond to the name Ziggy.
Brilliant. Did they make any reference to the show?
Oh, I presume it's specifically in reference to the show. Why else would you call your...
Yeah, but in the press release...
I didn't dig into the detail of the press release. I just saw the headline.
Right.
But there's only, I think, 5 names you can call your Amazon Echo.
Sure.
Echo, computer, Alexa.
And Google?
No, you can't call it Google. It's a different machine altogether.
Okay.
Ziggy.
Right. But a bit cheeky if they didn't give a nod to the show.
Well, you would think that's perhaps the route.
Mm-hmm. Well, maybe if they did do that, they would have to, maybe there'd be royalties. But they haven't, I'm sure Quantum Leap hasn't copyrighted the name Ziggy.
No, I mean, it must be to do with this new series coming up.
Yeah. Is it on Amazon? Is that where it's going to be shown?
Well, I don't know in the rest of the world. In America, I think it's NBC.
Which again is a little bit odd then, isn't it? Amazon, their job is these days...
Yeah, it's not something they do a lot because, the other name, I suppose computer is kind of like what they say in Star Trek, but other than that, it's all Amazon themed.
Yeah. Anyway, enough of that.
Yeah. Social media.
Go for it.
As always, we're at Leap Home Podcast on Instagram and Twitter, where you can get hold of us. We're at the Leap Home on Facebook, and theleaphome.com is where the website is, where you'll find a post up for this in each and every episode. Alternatively, head to YouTube, as we would encourage you to do. You can hear every episode 1 week early, where you can also leave comments, you can like it, you can subscribe, you can even be alerted by hitting that little bell button, and every time a new episode shows up, it will be delivered directly to your phone box.
Even I am bored with the Snapchat chat now.
Yeah, we'll move on swiftly then.
Let's crack on.
We start off with a similar sort of recap to last week, but instead of seeing Sam leap into Jesse, as we observed at the end of that episode, he makes the leap we saw at the end of season 1.
Mm-hmm. Into a bubble bath where he mentions the first rule of leaping.
Which is?
Finding out who he is.
Sometimes it's easier than other times. He's very pleased to discover that his name is Sam.
Yes.
His friend Gloria comes into the bathroom and gets him to zip up her dress, and she reminds him that he starts his new executive position today.
She thinks that he is playing it cool and reminds him that this is a rare opportunity for an executive position for someone of their age.
Yes, and then calls him Miss Youngest Executive Secretary at the company, which is a bit of an eye-opener.
Yeah. And at this point, she leaves, Gloria that is, and Sam looks at himself in the mirror and sees a hot blonde staring him back, and his eyes naturally drop.
Indeed.
So you agree that's what you would do?
I agree that's what Sam did.
For the first hour or so. Let's not.
Al immediately shows up at this point. The earliest I think we've ever seen Al show up.
Yes, with his mouth agape, and realises it is true. So, he gets some sort of prior notice.
Well, he's observed her appearing in Sam's body.
Ah, right, yeah.
So has obviously got the impression that it's a woman and came to see exactly what was going on.
No, but how would... No, because he only sees...
He explains in this episode, he sees Sam as the person that he is being.
Yes.
But he sees them as Sam.
Yeah, so he wouldn't know it's a woman. He only sees Sam back there.
They must have said something to give the impression they were a woman.
All right, yeah.
I would imagine.
Okay. I have to say as well that in this episode, we see an awful lot more of the...
Reflection
than we normally do, for some reason.
I've got a note of that quite early on in the episode. In fact, before the credits, I've said we've already seen more of Sam's reflection in this episode than the past 12 put together.
Yes.
Cheap tricks.
Very cheap tricks.
Al tells Sam that they've had to get Dr. Beeks, the project shrink, to work with Samantha already. I mean, he's only just leaped. What sort of... Does time pass differently?
I don't know.
And Sam's upset at being ogled.
He hides his modesty with a towel and declines to lower it, even though Al claims to be in love and is enjoying the view. This is
Creepy.
He's really creepy. And it's not just that. I can understand Al, because we know what Al was like, saying, "Oh, go on, Sam, give us a look."
Yeah, but not become obsessed in the way that he does.
Yeah, as an obsession.
Yeah, it's some sort of, he has some kind of mental
breakdown almost.
Yeah, issue. Anyhow, Al, quite correctly and in a way that he doesn't do every week, reminds Sam that he has to play this character while he's in the body. He needs to be a woman, which doesn't get said often enough.
It doesn't. It's nothing to do with being a woman. He needs to be reminded of this every single week because he doesn't act like how he should most of the time.
Yeah, he just acts like himself quite often.
Uh-huh.
Anyhow, Al says that he and Gushy have not yet had time to feed any data into Ziggy, which annoys Sam and encourages him to tell Al to get on with it.
I'm thinking, why have they not done this? I know why, because they've been too busy perving.
Well, what can they see? They were only going to see Sam's body with a woman in it. A bit like the last episode of the original Star Trek series, when Kirk swaps bodies with the Doctor.
Yeah, that's a good episode, that. Yeah, I enjoyed that. Anyway, he sends Al off to do this, to get more information, and then tells God that they have a wonderful sense of humour.
Indeed. And then we get the credits, and we're then on the way to work, Sam and Gloria together, but Sam's having a little bit of trouble. Yeah,
well, before that, there's an exterior shot of Detroit, and we're told that it is when...
It's October 1961.
Yeah, what date?
So later on it says October 16th, so I'm guessing this one's going to be, 14th, 12th?
No, it says 16 on the screen.
Does it?
Yeah.
But they say 16th later on, like 2 days later.
Right.
Unless everything happens in one day.
No.
I don't think it can.
Don't think so.
Anyway, certainly the 16th is the date that gets...
No, because we see them making breakfast at some point.
Yeah. And it's the weekend at one point.
Uh-huh.
So the dates are all a little bit higgledy-piggledy in this one.
Yeah. And we also hear some contemporary information about baseball. Do you remember that?
I didn't pick up. I'm guessing the Tigers have done something?
Something to do with Babe Ruth's record is about to be broken.
Oh, home run record.
Must be.
Okay.
And as you say, we find them on the street, Gloria and Sam. But he is more concerned about walking in heels, which we see him struggle to do, as Gloria is recommending a girdle. He
says he's not into bondage, but we then get a weird bit of exposition from Gloria, who says that one of their friends said the same, but swears her all the time now, and since having a baby, she's quite surprised that she's gone back to work. To which Sam says, "Why is that surprising?" And he learns from Gloria that Samantha has stated in the past that as soon as she gets the gold ring on her finger, she's giving up work and eating lots of chocolate.
Yeah, he doesn't like the thought of being a gold digger, but Gloria tries to put a more positive spin on the option.
Yeah, she says that he's just mentally prepared for a life different to the one that he's in, not knowing quite how right she is.
They're about to miss their bus when Gloria makes a run for it, and Sam has to take off his heels to make it.
Before being sexually assaulted by the man in the queue.
Yes. It's, yeah. Yeah, he's very handsy. And
he draws a withering glare from Sam.
He should draw a right hand from Sam at this.
Yeah. But then I guess maybe keep the peace at this stage.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose you don't want to get yourself jailed and not be able to do what you're meant to do.
No. At least until you figure out what's going on.
Yeah. And I think also, I quite like Gloria saying that going stockingless was very bohemian.
Yeah. we now see them in their office. We see an exterior of the office.
The National Motors Corporation, obviously Detroit being the
Car capital of the world.
at the time. At his desk, Sam thinks to himself that the lyrics, "I enjoy being a girl," were probably not written by one, and he hopes that his job's not going to be very taxing. A little bit of filing and tea making, I think, is what he's after here.
Yeah. He bumps into Gloria again, who's very upset, and reveals a complex romantic setup that she's got going on in the office.
Yeah, she points at a sign that shows that Buddy has got his promotion, and Sam asks who this is. Now that's weird, isn't it?
You would know.
Yeah, you need to be a little bit more tactful about trying to...
This happens quite a lot. People give exposition that you would surely expect the person to know, and it's weird that they're asking.
Yeah. I mean, for all he knows, Buddy's her husband.
Yeah. Anyhow, Buddy says... Gloria says that Buddy's her fiancé, although he is married.
Yeah, and I think Sam says he's not sure if you can have a married fiancé.
No, indeed. And she's convinced that when he got this promotion, he would then be able to afford a divorce and to fight for custody of his kids, and therefore leave his wife and marry her.
Yeah, so we can see this is a very hackneyed plot device we see in movies and TV, and you can see where this is going. The sleazeball guy saying, "Yeah, I'm going to leave my wife," and you know that that's never going to happen.
No.
And in fairness, I think we can discuss it, but I think deep down, Gloria probably knows that as well.
Does she?
I think she tries to...
Well, I suppose, she says, "Don't ruin it for me," a few times, like, as if, I know, just don't...
She's just hoping.
Shatter my illusions, yeah.
Exactly, yeah.
But yes, so Buddy's not even promoted Gloria, having received his own promotion, nor told her that he's getting divorced, so she's very concerned, and she and Sam hug it out.
Yeah, Sam tries to comfort her, and she says, as always, it's going to be fine. So again, I think we're getting the impression that this isn't a one-off.
No. Every time, in fact, I think there's 2 or 3 occasions in this episode where they hug in the office, and then it cuts to a shot of an unimpressed looking colleague sitting at the desk next to them.
Yeah.
It's like, stop being so emotional.
Gloria leaves, and Sam sits at her desk and lifts some flowers before being introduced to the sleazy sender.
Oh, he's so slimy, isn't he?
What does he want to be known as?
Big John.
Big Johnny.
Yes, he says that Sam can call him Big John if he is permitted to call her Samantha, but Sam's not in any way impressed.
No, that's Big John. He's not big at all, is he?
No, I think he's compensating for something here.
He's trying his luck before Sam appears to be saved by her new boss, Buddy, who dismisses him and tells Sam to get into the office and bring a pencil. And so he hobbles through, but unfortunately discovers that Johnny is not alone in his inappropriate behaviour.
I didn't realize until I watched you walk through that door how incredibly beautiful you really are.
Whatever I did, I'm sorry.
And I'm sorry, too, that it didn't become a vice president sooner, but we'll make up for that. Starting tonight. Drinks. To celebrate our new positions.
My natural instinct was to punch him out. But, as Al said, I had to play this as Samantha. I don't think so, Mr. Right?
Buddy.
What do
you mean you don't think so?
Well, you're married.
So?
So, I don't date married men.
Well, I figured I was just a fella to change all of that.
You figured wrong.
Samantha, I understand playing hard to get in the steno pool, but you've got the job now. I overlooked some very eligible gals to give it to you.
This is sexual harassment.
I don't know what that is, but I like the sound of it. Why don't you just explain that to me tonight over drinks?
Why don't you let your wife explain it to you?
Samantha, I would. Only my wife won't be sober enough to even say hello when I get home tonight. Get me Bixby's market research. I need it for my 10:30. And put on some makeup. You're representing Buddy right out there.
He's a scumbag.
100%.
But a brilliant scumbag.
I quite liked him.
I mean, I liked his portrayal of being a sleazy scumbag.
Yeah. Sam leaves the office at that point and you see Buddy recline in his chair and chuckle.
Yeah. In the restroom, he's struggling to apply lipstick when Al reappears and continues to sleaze over him, even as he tells him how he has been degraded. And this is just another example of Al being just as bad as the rest of them.
Yeah, he's got this block. We heard at the top of the show the reference to Wet Look lipstick that Al comes out with here. And apparently, Al has to admit that he's got a problem.
Yeah, he complains about how hard it is on him with his best friend being packaged into a goddess of love. So much so that he's having to talk to this Dr. Beeks.
Yeah, himself, yeah. While they're talking, Gloria bursts in and her mood has completely changed from earlier on.
Yeah, apparently Buddy wanted the promotion to be a surprise and that is why he didn't mention it to her. And he does in fact want to marry her, of course.
Yes, now that he can afford to fight for custody of his kids.
Yeah, she is ecstatic, but Al tells Sam that this is why he is here.
Indeed, and Sam says to Gloria that I'm leaving my wife is the oldest lie in the book.
I think Al confirms that Gloria is definitely not getting married.
Indeed.
Sam tries to make her see sense, but she doesn't want, as we mentioned earlier, Sam to spoil it. So, like I say, I think deep down she knows this is going nowhere, but she's enjoying just the hope.
Yeah, but you say that, but then Al delivers an ominous twist.
What's that?
He tells Sam that Gloria eventually does realise that Buddy won't marry her and kills herself.
Yeah.
Well, you might call that an overreaction.
It's sad, isn't it, that she thinks so little of herself that unless
we do hear that later on, that she doesn't have much of an opinion of her own value.
Mm-hmm. So we go to their apartment that they share for the first time, and as Sam gets dressed, he considers that women are masochists based on what they have to wear.
Yeah, he says it's as though someone designed a modern-day torture rack that you can wear. I mean, I think he needs to realise it wasn't the women who came up with this.
Yes, yeah. Gloria walks in as she's getting dressed and tells her she looks incredible, although Sam was going for a more conservative look.
Gloria tells him that he couldn't look conservative if he tried.
She also admits that if it was anyone else working for Buddy, she'd be worried. And Sam responds that she would have good reason to be, so he's trying to give her a clue here.
Yeah, but Gloria tells him not to start. She says that she and Buddy love one another and that's all that matters.
And claims that his wife is a monster who drinks and fights with him and is also having an affair.
Probably cheats at cards as well.
Yeah, and kicks puppies.
Yeah. Sam says that she shouldn't need a man to feel special. And this is where we hear Gloria's lack of self-esteem. She says she's not beautiful, as Sam says, maybe cute, but no more than that.
Causing Sam to insist that she is, and especially on the inside. That's a sort of
that's a backhanded compliment.
You are beautiful on the inside.
Yeah, the bits we can't see. Gloria reckons that's not what men are interested in, and Buddy is the one person who loves her for who she is.
That's why I think she must know, because she can't be that. I mean, if she is that stupid, then hey, there's not much hope for her.
Convinced herself because she wants it to be true.
Yeah, I thought Sam tells her he has his doubts. This is based on his time with Buddy today.
Well, that makes Gloria get all defensive.
Offensive, I would say. And she claims that she wouldn't know, as men only love her for her body.
She immediately apologises, but asks Sam not to make her give up her one shot at happiness.
Yeah, and it doesn't really support her point anyway. She's saying, oh, yeah, well, Buddy only loves you for your body. It's like, yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. That's the type of guy that he is.
Yeah. Well, she's saying that's not her experience of Buddy, I suppose.
Mm. And in any case, she immediately apologises and cries, and she doesn't want Sam to ask her to give up her one chance of happiness.
Yeah. We then skip ahead to the office where Buddy and senior sleazeman Ted are discussing stuff.
Yeah, they mentioned Lee Iacocca. I remember reading his autobiography a number of years ago.
Tell me all about him.
I can't remember now. It was literally 20 years ago, but he was the sort of poster boy for the now was it Chrysler, or anyway, one of the big companies. He took over and turned it around, and yeah, he was the man for a while.
Sitting in on this meeting, Sam notes that Buddy is the textbook definition of sleaze, from his hair to his teeth to his chin to the way he uses his wit and charm, and calls him a master of manipulation.
Indeed, I think that's a fair summation.
Yeah, pretty much nailed it.
He is presenting what he thinks the public will want in a car in 10 years' time. This is Buddy we're talking about.
Yeah, but it's undermined by Sam's interventions.
Yeah, he smirks at his suggestion that they will still want chromes and fins, something like out of Grease, yeah, which is fairly topical with Olivia Newton-John dying last night.
Yeah, about a month ago by the time people hear this.
It will be, but yeah, let's just timestamp it. Were you a big fan of Grease?
I mean, I've seen it a couple of times. I wouldn't say I'm a huge fan of Grease.
I've seen it on stage, which originally it was. I think 3 times. I'm not a super fan. I just happened to have went with different people at different times.
Sure.
Quite good.
And you're planning to go again.
I quite like Grease 2 as well.
That was in telly the other night.
Yeah, Reproduction, that was a good song. And a peak, Michelle Pfeiffer on that was...
I do like Stockard Channing.
Yes.
Especially in The West Wing.
I've not seen it.
She plays the president's wife.
Well, she was she Rizzo?
Yeah.
Anyway, enough of this.
Getting back to where we were.
Yeah. Sam meekly asks about fuel economy, which pleases the boss guy.
Yes, Ted, yes.
And
not so much Buddy.
No, he's forced to concede it might get 8 miles to the gallon.
Jeez, oh. And then Sam asks again about fuel prices, which further irritates Buddy.
Yeah, he thinks it's going to cost about $12 to fill it up.
Which back then, it's probably worth about $100 today.
Yeah, let's not talk about fuel costs.
Well,
you're okay with your electric car.
Yeah, I'm quite happy.
Yeah.
I have no problems. Buddy, though, and we see this a couple of times through the episode, having been undermined a little bit or embarrassed, takes back control of the situation by asserting his authority.
Yeah, he takes a huff and feeling the pressure, he snarkily tells her that they won't be marketing this model to secretaries, and then tells him to get coffee.
Yes, Ted takes his black and Buddy takes his like he likes his women.
On his knees and beaten.
He says hot and sweet.
All right, yeah, or that way as well, yeah.
Brown and foamy. I don't know.
Full of cream. Anyway.
When Sam leaves, we see Ted and Buddy ogling his butt.
They certainly do. In the open office area.
Big John's
area. He goes to make coffee and he tells Big John to shut it before he starts, and then makes a very hot and sweet coffee as instructed.
Very sweet, yes.
Yeah.
Gloria comes over and Sam has a little bit of a breakdown of his own.
Yeah, he moans about modern things he would like to be doing, and she mistakes this for his time of the month.
Yes. I wonder if that's some kind of internalised sexism.
Yeah. In any case, she has a favour which she will repay.
Yeah, she needs Sam to go out tonight because Buddy's going to come over, and says that if Sam does do that, she'll come on the double date that Sam's mother has arranged for the following night with 2 other men.
She thinks mistakenly that her date with Buddy is going to entail them planning their future together, and Sam can't help but remark that if he's planning their future like he plans the company, she's going to be in big trouble.
Gloria wants to know what he's talking about. He walks it back a little bit and just says he doesn't want her to get hurt, which she takes as a yes to her.
Yeah, I mean,
suggestion.
I think eventually he reluctantly agrees against his better judgment. So, at the apartment, we see Sam arrive after work to the dismay of Gloria, who reminds him that Buddy's going to be here any minute. So, it doesn't have to... They're not trying to hide, or are they? Perhaps... Yeah, Buddy just said, I don't want anyone to know that we're... Or... No,
I think she just wants to be alone so that she can get up to wherever she wants to get up to.
Yeah, sure, but she's almost like ushering him out the door. It's like, he's going to be here. Yeah, well, there can be a crossover for 10 minutes and say hello and...
As indeed there is, because Sam doesn't rush out the door at all. He dawdles, he's getting rid of his high heels, and at this point suggests that the 3 of them could discuss the future.
That's quite an obnoxious and...
it's a weird thing to say.
Yeah. No, I don't want you... You're not my mother.
You're just my flatmate, yeah.
Yeah.
And Buddy arrives with a dog called Bubbles and says he didn't realise that the 2 of them were roommates.
Yeah, before making a crack, hinting at a threesome.
He does indeed, but Sam says he's going for a walk, and Buddy says, can you take the dog?
I don't get this. She wouldn't have known Sam was there, so what was he going to do with the dog anyway?
So tie up outside.
I'll let it run around the apartment. Why would Sam, I suppose if it's your boss, and maybe back then you would feel obliged to.
See, on the one hand, yeah, maybe he's told his wife, I'm going to walk the dog, and that's why he's out of the house, but then his wife knows. We find out later on she doesn't care
Yeah.
what he's up to. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah, why bring this dog with you?
Yeah, leave it in the car at least.
So Sam finds himself on the street and looks up to see the apartment lights immediately go out.
Personally, I prefer leaving the lights on. You keep that up, Tiny Teeth, and I'll feed you to Ziggy.
A little testy tonight, aren't we?
Well, you would be too.
If what?
Never mind. Just save Madame Butterfly up there from cashing in her cookies and get back to being a guy.
How? Gloria is convinced that Buddy's Mr. Wonderful, that he's got a witch for a wife, and that she's his only salvation.
Well, all women fall for that one. Especially single girls Gloria's age.
What does age have to do with it?
She's 27 years old. She's fighting the biological clock. Those little eggs are ticking off like time bombs.
Al, a woman can have a healthy baby into her 40s.
Well, no, but people didn't realize that in 1961. We're talking serious old maid here. She's probably up there shredding newspapers right now.
Yeah, well, I wish that's what she was doing.
I'm warning you.
What is your problem?
You hermaphrodite, you're driving me crazy. I'm not performing with Tina, so she thinks I've got somebody on the side. And Beeks is laying this load of repressed homosexual crap on me, and every time I see you, I've got to deal with this. I'm out of here.
Well, you should get out of here. I can't believe it. Al, look out! Yeah. Close the door.
When is Sam going to learn that Al cannot be harmed?
I know. Every episode that happens, just about.
He's driven into him himself.
Yeah. The attitude there as well were a bit 80s.
Well, I thought...
Repressed homosexuality, what? What are you talking about?
Well, that's what I'm saying. He's got repressed feelings for Sam that are now coming out because he sees Sam as a woman.
Sounds like nonsense psychology to me.
Well, that's what the psychologist says.
Yeah.
I think that turns out to be what the situation is. He's got this, maybe not homosexual love for Sam, he's got a platonic love for Sam that he's confusing with his urges towards the shape of Sam's new body.
I think he's just a pervy guy and he likes to look at Gloria, yeah.
You don't think it's more complicated?
No, I don't think it is at all.
After Al leaves and Sam has a quip about his new door, which I think we start to see more and more after this. This is the first time we've seen his shiny door.
Yeah. He then sits with a sigh and laments that Gloria won't listen to him, and Al has a crush on him, and that he is a woman and thinks that he doesn't deserve it.
Unfortunately, Bubbles doesn't seem interested.
No, he also does deserve it. This is all his, as far as we know at this point.
He went in the machine, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, he shouldn't have done it. Anyhow, next morning.
Sam makes toast while wearing a little tank top as Gloria comes through, beaming about what a glorious morning it is, and points out Peeping George in the building across the street. They're very casual about sex offenders back then.
Yeah, and he gets an eyeful as she plays with her night dress in front of the window.
In fairness, I'm not sure if he's peeping in the sense that he's got like a telescope, or if he just lives across.
Yeah, he just lives across. It's like in Friends with the ugly naked guy.
I never watched it.
Well, there's a guy in the apartment across from Monica and the other one,
right.
Rachel, who wanders around his apartment naked, but he's not attractive.
Okay. And do they use any devices to see, or just
They do on occasion.
Oh, see, that's wrong. That's invasion of privacy.
Yeah, but other times you can see him.
Oh, yeah, that's all right. And you're allowed to look out your window, but you shouldn't really be using telescopes into other people's. What you can see with the naked eye, that's the law as far as I'm concerned.
Well, if you're walking down the street and never mind. Let's move on. So, Sam's a bit crabbit though. Covers Gloria up, and she wants to know what's got into him, because normally it would be Samantha that is flaunting herself in front of the window, and she never gets up before noon on a Saturday, and she never cooks.
No, but Sam changes the mood by asking if Buddy told his wife, and she unconvincingly says yes, but he's not moving out until after the holidays because of the kids, etc., etc. There's always some excuse, obviously.
Sam comes back sceptically saying that the holidays will go on forever because there's so many holidays. And Gloria then spits back with a bit of fire.
Yeah, she asks if he has a crystal ball. And he tells her that, yeah, he sort of does.
But then she accuses him of treating her this way because of how Tony treated her.
And storms off into her bedroom. So Sam goes through to the crying Gloria and they apologise to each other before he agrees to give Buddy a chance for her benefit.
I mean, this is a big thing that they've just kind of skimmed over here. So you're saying that Samantha had this exact same experience 2 years earlier where she was dating a married man who never left his wife.
Yep.
And now Gloria isn't taking the benefit of that experience from her and just wants to say this is completely different. It's a different guy.
That's my point. She does know this, but she just is desperate and has no self-confidence.
Yeah. So they both apologise to one another in the bedroom and agree to have a girls' day before the double date that evening.
Yeah, I think Sam mentions something about backing out, but is confused when Gloria tells him that his mother would kill them both if he tried to do such a thing.
Indeed.
We skip to the date at the restaurant.
Yes, Sam is with a very, very possibly the sleaziest guy in the episode.
Yeah, him and Al, certainly.
He works in washers.
He is wearing a very revealing low-cut dress. You'd think that Sam, in this situation, might not want to dress in any way.
Maybe that's all that they've got.
I suppose, yeah.
Well, they went to the shops. No.
That's true, yeah. So she went out and buy something very revealing. I'm not comfortable with this, but...
It's not my body, I don't care. We learn about this other guy, is I think maybe Preston?
I can't remember his name, but I did take a note that he looks very much, and I thought for a second it was Fisher Stevens.
Maybe a wee bit. Anyway, he got married at 19, but 20 years later was left by his wife, and he seems a bit wet, but not sleazy.
Yeah, he seems a decent enough guy.
Yeah, he's a bit pathetic.
However, the washer salesman ends up on the ground.
Well, he goes early doors for the handsy play, and Sam reacts violently with a purse to the face.
I think this is one of the well-known iconic images of the whole show.
Yeah. Sam at this point heads for the ladies' room telling Gloria not to come. And the guy that he's knocked out stands up shakily, looks quite dazed and says that she's a feisty little wench. But I like that.
Yeah, he's encouraged by it. So we find Sam at a telephone bay.
Finally doing something smart.
Exactly. This is what you should be doing. I mean, obviously these days it'd be ideal with mobile phones.
Yeah, or AirPods or whatever, yeah. But he pretends to use a payphone so they can talk to Al and not look mad.
Yeah, he sheepishly admits that Beeks has told him he will need 5 years of analysis.
Before he can cope with Sam being a woman, yes.
And Sam tells him about his recent incident, then asks when he will be able to leap, and is told something about Gloria.
Yes, this is the night when she's going to kill herself.
Oh. Back at the table, Gloria's date still seems smitten with her.
He's talking too much.
He is.
He's giving a background and an explanation for everything he thinks, which is just boring.
But things take a turn when she spots Buddy entering the restaurant with his wife.
She looks stunned. Gloria does.
Yeah, because they seem on perfectly good terms.
Yes. So she excuses herself from the table, and the sleazy guy tells the wet guy that he thinks they're onto something.
However, we see Gloria approaching Buddy's wife, and things do not go according to plan.
Mrs. Wright?
Yes?
We haven't met. My name is Gloria. Gloria Collins.
Oh, yes, Mrs. Davenport is sponsoring you into the Junior League.
No. Buddy's Gloria.
His new secretary?
No. I just wanted to tell you that I know how difficult it's going to be going through the divorce. And I'm going to do everything I can to make it easier on the children.
Sit down, Miss Collins. I'm going to try to do this as gracefully as possible. Buddy and I have an arrangement. He has his personal life, and I have mine. Now, whatever lies my husband has obviously told you, he will never divorce me. But he is far too egotistical to give up the status he acquired when he married me. And if he ever tries, I will strip him to his shorts. So my advice to you, dear, is to quietly close your hope chest on this one and try someone else's husband. Goodbye, Miss Collins. You will forgive me if I don't shake your hand.
That was humiliating, but I have to say it was an idiotic thing for her to do. I mean, what does she think was going to happen there? Oh, sit down, brilliant. Yeah, let's have drinks and we'll become friends. And
yeah, that was crazy.
Stupid.
I think she was battling with the reality of what she could see against what she'd been told.
Yeah.
And she was trying to reconcile the two things that didn't go.
No. We see Gloria run past the phone banks or the phone bays in a state, and at the same time, Al tells Sam that they have no data on the cause of the suicide.
No, just that it's October the 16th, 1961 that she dies. Her date has been quite attentive. He comes through and tells Sam what happened with Gloria as best as he can understand.
And realising this is it, Sam chases after her. And we head back to the apartment. It's pouring down with rain when he arrives in a cab and looks up to see Gloria on the ledge, distraught.
Moments later, we see Sam arrive at the window and tell Gloria that he's coming out to get her.
I'm not sure if you were going to kill yourself, that your immediate thought would be, I'm not sure how many people run to their home to do it. I mean, you might if you lived in a skyscraper, but if you didn't, I think people go to their certain, bridges or...
Well, maybe she wanted to go home and then decided to kill herself after she got there.
Yeah, but I'm wondering, I mean, I don't have the data, how many people would use this method and do it at home.
If you're doing it by jumping, I suppose you would want to go somewhere maybe a bit higher to make sure.
I think from that, there's quite a reasonable chance that you might not kill yourself immediately.
Just end up in
all sorts of
wheelchair or something, yeah. Anyhow, Gloria says, you need to let me make my decision and this is my choice. But Sam says that suicide isn't a legitimate choice to make.
Well, it says it won't change it, but it will change things.
Gloria points out, it will change it, I'll be dead. I won't have to worry about it.
And I think she's accepted it. She mentions that she can't live with the pain of being rejected by the man that she loves.
Yeah.
So she's accepted that now. However, he persuades her that Buddy is not worth it. But as she starts to come back in off the ledge, what happens?
The ledge starts to crumble and the pipework comes away from the wall of it.
It's all very dramatic. But after a few close shaves, they both manage to get back inside.
Yes, Gloria first, and then after dangling a little bit, Sam is pulled back in as well.
We'll return to him a little bit later.
Sam's made some warm milk for Gloria, and...
just like her mother used to.
Yes, apparently mothers are never wrong, except for Gloria's.
She used to tell her that she would marry a Prince Charming, and she doesn't think that will happen, even though Sam points out that she's not an old maid.
Not yet.
No.
Gloria then starts to open up a bit to Sam.
Yeah, he's disturbed to hear that she's been working in the secretarial pool just to try and snag such a guy. But she lowers her head when Sam mentions Buddy. He tells her to get out and do whatever she wants and smiles and encourages her to do what?
Design cars. That's what she wants to do. This reminded me a little bit of the Disco Inferno episode when the guy just wanted to be a musician, or he didn't say that, but Sam said, direct your career choice. Oh, everyone should do what they love. No one should do jobs that are actually required.
No, but in this case, I mean, in the Disco Inferno, I think there's legitimate, as we discussed, a legitimate argument that Sam was wrong and he should have stayed with the more secure family business. I mean, he could still have done that on the side.
Yeah.
Like, and in fact, I think most people don't. We didn't discuss that in the show, but if
they don't stop working to become rock stars.
You can go and play, because these things happen anyway. You can play pub gigs and weekends and nights, and then if you do get then you do it. You don't need to say, I'm now a rock star.
Put on my LinkedIn, that's me.
Yeah. But in this case, I would agree with Sam, I think, because she's being used, and even if she leaves this, back in the day then, I don't think it would have been hard for a competent secretary to go to another job.
Yeah. This reminded me a bit of Mad Men, with the office setup and the fact that Gloria wants to get into the design team.
Sure.
There's a plot line like that. in that show, which is possibly my favourite show.
Sure. He tells her that she should use her art degree to get on this design programme, even though a woman has never done that before.
Yes, and Sam says it won't be easy. You'll need to be twice as good to be considered equivalent, but if it's what you want to do, you should go for it.
Yeah, and maybe then she will have some respect for herself.
Gloria then tells Sam that she hopes when the right guy comes along for him, he realises what a good woman he is.
At this point, he says goodnight and leaves her, but I think he's waiting for the leap, which doesn't come.
No, Al's lurking, and he wasn't there earlier when they were about to die because he was up to no good with his missus.
Yeah.
He explains that...
But we're in the living room now, we've left
Yes.
the bedroom.
Al explains that the future is more or less resolved. Gloria will marry Parker from the blind date and be perfectly happy.
She'll go on to grow kids and avocados, but she won't be a designer.
I think she gets on the design team, but Samantha does it with her. And she goes on to lead the design department before adopting a kid and being a leading single parent. Al's theory on why Sam hasn't leaped is because he wants revenge on Buddy, which is, quotes, very female.
Mm-hmm.
If the episode wasn't written by a woman, I'd be questioning that.
Yeah, okay, we'll get to that in the trivia, yeah. Yeah, Sam can't believe that something as petty as revenge is the reason he is still there, but yeah, that's what Al says. So, we go back to Buddy's office, and Sam slips his hairy chest into the most revealing dress he can find and decides to give Buddy a taste of his own medicine.
Yes, he tells Buddy that Gloria doesn't know how to play the game, but that he does. And Buddy reckons he had her pegged, or him pegged, all along.
Yeah, she's just been playing hard to get. And so, while he is rubbing him up on the couch, Sam reveals that he is in fact not who he thought she was.
What? I'm a man. A male. A person of the masculine gender.
What are you talking about?
You're trying to make it with a man.
No way. Not with this body.
Bodies can be deceiving.
You can't be a man.
Why? Because I turn you on?
Yeah. I mean, no. No. You were a. You mean you had a. You did a Christine Jorgensen?
No. I didn't say I used to be a man. I said I am a man. And I'll prove it to you.
No!
If you look closely, you'll notice that I walk like a man. I stand like a man. And I know things that only a man can know, like what it feels like to get kicked in the crotch, how the pain just keeps growing and growing, and then that wonderful sensation when it finally subsides, or what it's like to walk around high school with your books in front of you to cover up an embarrassing case of pubescent hormonal overload.
You had a brother?
Does a brother tell his sister what he did looking at his first centerfold?
Oh, you stay away from me.
I thought I turned you on.
I don't have time for this stupid game.
Speaking of games, why don't I show you how I throw a baseball? Or better yet, how I throw a punch.
Yeah, I mean, it was a bit of a sort of comic book ending there. A couple of issues. Buddy seems the type of guy. What Sam should have done was say, yeah, I used to be a man. And then that removes any issues. But
Yeah.
Buddy might just go up and grab her, grab him and say, no, you're not.
You can tell the exact moment in that clip where Buddy thinks, if I like her, then maybe I'm gay.
Yeah. But also, as we've discussed before, this is leaving Samantha in an awkward position when she leaps back, because Buddy, one, he might have her sacked, he might have her removed from her job, but he would then be telling everyone else that she's a guy.
Yeah, maybe that's why she never gets married. Did you notice after he knocked him out that it played Birdsong?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The sort of cartoon ending. Yeah, but it was good to see him get his comeuppance.
He deserved it.
He did.
Sam takes off the high heels and I think the earrings, dumps them on top of Buddy, and then leaps. And he appears to be a blind pianist at the end of a concert he's just played.
A what?
A blind piano player.
Yes.
At the end of a concert that he's just played with a cheering audience.
Indeed.
I'm sure that'll go well.
What can possibly go wrong?
Anyway, good episode. I think we can let Sam off for partially revealing his identity there this time.
Yeah, well, he wasn't revealing the truth, was he? But
my next note just says, Al has a lot of issues.
Al has many, many issues, and I think that's the thing as well, that during this episode, do we think that, you see, he's seeing his friend now being harassed and degraded, and he's getting an insight into how women at the time, even in this time, but certainly back then, were treated. You would think that perhaps Al would take note of that and go, do you know what, yeah, but the Me Too, I'm partially to blame with that. The way I treat and talk and do things with women isn't really on. If this is my friend here is telling me, showing me how uncomfortable it makes him, maybe I should change my ways slightly. But it doesn't seem to, I don't think. Maybe we're going to find out that Al's promiscuous ways are just his way of covering up the fact that he's been in love with Sam all along. Could be. I thought they did a decent job of avoiding tropes. I thought there was quite a few tropes. But they were used deliberately. It wasn't just laziness. Yeah. And like I said earlier, I thought the fact that a woman wrote it is probably evident from the way it was done. I think a man would have done this differently. You think, yeah? Yeah. That's just a feeling. I'm not sure, yeah. I think, yeah, women writing it back in the 80s, I don't think a woman would write it like this today. Well, again, yeah, you get a bit more freedom. I suppose you don't have to come down within certain guidelines or whatever else. Yeah. But I thought it was a fun, it was something different, obviously, that we've not seen before. It was very enjoyable, and I think it is, as I say, one of the episodes that probably people who have watched it, casually over the years would remember if they've seen this episode. Yeah. Any other thoughts? No, not really. No. Okay, so some trivia. This originally aired on the 25th of October 1989, so the same as the last episode. There was a 1 week gap. I wonder if it was on a fortnightly rotation or if there was something going on. Directed by Alan J. Levy. We've talked about him before. This was the second of his 6 episodes. You can hear more about him back on the podcast in season 1 for Kamikaze Kid. Written by Deborah Pratt. We've discussed it at reasonable length back in the podcast for The Colour of Truth, specifically about the way she wrote that story. So similar thoughts, I think, in certain ways. Sure. Here, Jean Segal played Gloria, and quite unnecessarily, her twin Liz played her reflection in the mirror. Did she? Yes. Why don't you just have a mirror? Anyway, they've been in quite a lot of things together. This was their only Quantum Leap appearance, minus obviously the moment we saw at the end of Play It Again, Seymour in season 1. As an actress, Jean appeared in things like Grease 2, Cagney and Lacey, 21 Jump Street and Knots Landing. Coincidentally mentioned. Yeah. But she also has had a successful career as a director. So she worked on shows like 2.5 Men, Wizard of Waverly Place and iCarly. And she's still working as a director. Liz, who also appeared in Grease 2, 21 Jump Street and Knots Landing, was also in the 1986 Marvel movie Howard the Duck. With Leah, that was a good one, with Tim Robbins, Leah Thompson, and Jeffrey's pedo. Okay. What do you call him? From Ferris Bueller. Ed Rooney. Okay. He's a sex offender. Going in a different direction from her sister, she's had a successful screenwriting career, having penned episodes for shows like Monk, Charmed, and more recently The Flight Attendant. Oh, very good, yeah. That's her with from Big Bang, yeah. Kelly Coco, yeah. They're both now 60 years old, obviously, as twins, and still working in their relative fields. John Calvin played Buddy. This was his only Quantum Leap appearance. He's been a relatively prolific actor, appearing in shows like Dallas, Knight Rider, T.J. Hooker, and one episode of Columbo. What one? He was Charlie Shoop in A Friend Indeed. He's now 74, but he's got no screen credits since 1995. So I wonder if he's branched out into some other line of work. Or theatre. Possibly. Or selling cars, designing cars. Greg Berger played Parker, which was the wet blanket on the double date. This was his only Quantum Leap episode, but he's best known for his voice work. And he's been doing it for decades on shows like Transformers and Garfield.
He's also appeared on things like St. Elsewhere, Ellie Law, and he was in Police Academy Mission to Moscow.
Was he? The worst Police Academy.
He's now 71 and still active. Richard, I think that was the other guy in the double date. He was played by Matt Landers. This was his only Quantum Leap episode, but he's perhaps most recognisable for his role as Captain Mitchell in Die Hard.
Who was he?
I think it was the obnoxious policeman.
Right, okay.
I could be wrong. He also appeared in shows like Ellie Law, Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventures, and The George Carlin Show before his premature death in 2015 when he was just 62.
So, but you're thinking of when you say the obnoxious one, that's your man from the Breakfast Club, who's dead now. I can't remember his name. That's not.
Well, must be somebody else then. Who's
Yeah.
Captain Mitchell?
Can't remember.
Oh well, I'm getting two guys mixed up. Anyway, this guy was in it as Captain Mitchell. Lorraine Chabot, I don't know. She played the many reflections of Samantha. This was the first of 2 Quantum Leap appearances. She's also been in shows like Murder, She Wrote, Nash Bridges, and The Secret World of Alex Mack. But in recent years, she's better known as a fitness expert, both on television and in magazines, and she's now 59 years old. Some trivia.
Sure.
First time Sam leaps into a woman, too obvious.
Mm-hmm.
Beeks, Dr. Beeks gets mentioned. She'll show up again in the future. Verbena Beeks, I believe her name is.
Mm-hmm.
First time we see Al's glowing door. Talked about that. We've seen him in a door before, but it didn't glow. Reference to Christine Jorgensen.
Yes.
One of the earliest high-profile transgender women. Early 50s surgeries were done in Scandinavia. It used to be a GI. There was a big New York Post headline, GI is now a blonde bombshell.
Okay.
It would have been a well-known cultural reference in the early 60s.
Sure.
In terms of things we learned, so Sam can leap into women, Dr. Beeks works at the project.
Well, not just that, but they have a psychiatrist who supports the project, which is good. You think that sort of that well-being you should be looking after.
Yeah.
People are giving them that sort of support.
That makes sense.
And this is the first time we learn, I think, that Al sees Sam as the person he leaped into.
Yes, that's never been clear. I've never realised that before.
No.
Yeah. So how do you know which one's Sam?
What do you mean?
How does he know it's Sam? If they look like the person they're meant to be. I suppose he knows who's
They
come.
give information from, yeah.
Okay. Anything else?
Nope.
Next week, we have Blind Faith, where Sam has to help a woman avoid a serial killer.
Nice one.
So we will see you in 1964.
Till then.
Cheerio.
Bye-bye.